I was looking at a memory from the past there. One of the more ridiculous things that had come up over the last few years, the Russian PP compromat. And I remember I was still on Twitter, so I got to see when this article hits. And I actually caught, it was actually somebody who years later, after everybody who was involved supposedly in the whole matter, it's all been found out to be bullshit, and that it was just something ginned up by opposition, ridiculous Oppo research, and it was just somebody who just ginned something up. For I think like some tremendous amount of money too. Like it was a lot of money that this person ginned this up. But that was the thing, is they knew that was the end of their career. You know, and somebody even said this. They were like, it was this one female reporter is like, did anybody else did anybody else have this shopped around to them? But she real quickly got real quiet about the article, about the whole incident. And then now years later, I'm pretty sure she's the one who I heard her like going off on some show about how it was like, it just was, you know, she laid out the whole, she was laying out the whole thing, you know, and it wasn't even her work, but I mean, it was that, but she was laying it out and just like, yeah, this was phony from the start, blah, blah, blah. But there was something about it that I wanted to bring up. It brought up a heuristic that, and I don't know what, I wanted to try to get this down. Boomer pervert, the sexual revolution, the boomer nerd, you know, like us nerds, we love that we have these nerds who came before us who are into nerd stuff and underground comics and bikini clad sword wielding babes and things like that. Oh wow, that's wild. And you know, this is real cool stuff. But the sexual revolution, a lot of rock and roll, when you're a guy like me who you like scorching 45s, a lot of these dance tunes, you know, they are what they are. But then there's a lot of music that are these originals that are very biographical. You'll even find that there eventually is like a real divide with people. There's people that they love biographical American music, and then people who like dance songs. Yeah, that's wild. That's wild. It's like that on the front side too. It was like really wild looking. And so I was thinking about this, that the sexual revolution, it was something that this beloved aspect of a lot of boomer culture. But also it gives us this issue of these people were fixated on sex in a way that's like really weird. And everyone knows it. It's the boomers who won't accept their perversion. And that the millennials specifically are the ones who call this out online, and as a age group have come up with whole cultural terminology for the way that boomers were these like disgusting perverted molesters and diddlers and leerers and leches, and that we can't bring up that the sexual revolution obviously opened that up with them specifically. And it's that there's some weird thing that a lot of boomer liberal culture can't deal with, the fact that this is a foundation of boomer liberal culture. This kind of lecherous aspect that you just wouldn't even have the cultural icons of kind of boomer leftist rock and roll cool actor-actress couples without this kind of, these lectures, without these, like, this weird, and so when it came to Donald Trump and the PP dossier, this was like the ultimate moment of this, where these boomers exposed, like, why would you think he would be turned on by prostitutes peeing? It, like, didn't even make sense. I actually had to sit back and I was like, that doesn't, and like thinking about who they're talking about, and I'm like, he's a notorious germaphobe. I don't understand why you guys would think that. Doesn't even make sense. And so what started to hit me was that I started to think about who seemed to believe it the most. And the people who were believing it the most, they're always these kind of like that end of, like a 5 at best kind, the liberals who are a 5 at best. And really were like, tended to be art people, smart art people. And that a lot hinged on them thinking themselves smart. They weren't hot, they weren't charismatic, but they were smart. So it's just something I'm going to be rolling this around, because there's something, because what is that with boomer liberal perversion? And like everything has to be perverted to them. And even though most of the stuff that says people are like that was never grounded in any actual surveys or real science. All right, later.